on recording. Okay, we'll be getting yoga for improved posture. That was a great explanation I just gave, but unfortunately, forgot to turn the recording on. So that's okay. We'll get the practice in. And does anyone have questions or concerns or areas of their spine that you're protecting? If I can just get that, and then we'll begin. Anyone? I'm unmuting you, Iris, and just saying hello. Thank you for being here. No questions. Okay, you're all ready. Okay, let's begin with some breathing. I'm going to actually, since you're upright, I want you to notice how you're aligning your spine right now. So are your sitting bones grounded, and then can you get that lower back drawn in? Good. Nice blanket under the hips, Arlene. So I have a bolster under my hips, and that really helps. Something under the hips to rock that pelvis forward. In fact, let's just rock it back and forth a little bit. Yeah, get comfortable back there. Yeah, chair is great. So just notice what you're feeling in your back and along the spine, which includes the tailbone, the sacrum, the lumbar spine. There's 5 vertebrae there. And their best position is an anterior tilt. Now circle it around a little bit. And then the thoracic spine, which we want to have a little bit of a posterior tilt. That's the natural curve, but that curve tends to get accentuated because that's how we're born. We're actually born with only a posterior curve in our spine because we're all in that fetal position when we're in utero. And so when we come out into the world, we actually have to develop our lumbar curve and our cervical curve. That's why we can't hold our head up when we're babies, because we don't have those muscles. So we have to develop those neck muscles. And next week, we'll really focus on neck and shoulders. And we have to develop that lumbar curve. So when we lay on our bellies and we start to push ourselves up, that's developing the lumbar curve. So I think just understanding that, I've just kind of been speaking to that a little bit this year, because I believe that we understand why it's so easy for our bodies to go into that curled position. We can have a little more compassion for ourselves. You know, it's just a natural development, and that we have to actually put some effort in to balance out. So bringing ourselves up. So let's go ahead and sit nice and tall, and we're going to take the one ear to the shoulder. And just take some deep breaths here. So we're going to stretch and breathe and focus in on our centering at the same time. And just let the head be heavy and just feel a gentle opening. So when we're feeling the point of stretch, when we're opening and expanding areas of the body, you want to go to that very first point of sensation called your minimum edge. And then as you start to lean a little bit more, let your spine start to move to the side. I'm going to move back a little. And imagine what your spine looks like coming to the side. Okay. And you're opening up all these vertebrae on the side. And if you move your shoulders slightly forward or back, or yeah, that's nice, Arlene, take an arm up. What kind of sensations can you experience here that feel welcoming to your spine? And now you want to try and keep the hip grounded. Keep that hip bone so that you get this big opening between the pelvis and the thoracic area, and even the lumbar area. So just hold over there for a few more breaths. Your lower hand can support you. You might want to turn your head a little bit if there's too much on the side of the neck. And breathe. Take 3 more full deep breaths in and out. Again, this shoulder movement, but really drop in, and I want you to visualize your own spine today, like what's happening there, and see it as being supple and strong. And as you come up, I suggest turning the head so you can kind of pull up from your belly. Don't bring your head up first, but draw your navel to your spine and then pull up slowly to the side and up to center. Release the head, and now roll the shoulders out. And as you do this, you'll feel how your spine responds. We really want to keep that spine supple like a snake. Right? Move it around. And then sitting nice and tall, we'll start just with the head. So we're going to feel that little turn in the cervical spine. Take a few breaths there. As if you could bring your breath right into those areas of sensation. You could reach that arm down away from where you're stretching. And giving your body time to get a sense of release. And then you can start to go a little deeper by letting the rib cage move to the side. Put your lower hand on the floor for support. And breathing into that again. Visualize your spine. So again, we're compressing the lower side. There's that spinal compression, which is so good, not only for the bones of your spinal column, but then the discs in between. They get a little massage. They're like the jelly donuts. I always like to think of them as jelly donuts in between the hockey pucks of your vertebrae. So the hockey pucks are the strong vertebrae, and the jelly donuts, a fresh one, which I haven't had one in years, but I have good memories of them. And just soft and mushy. And then that gel inside, we want it nice and fluid. And so this helps to massage those little cushions between the vertebrae. So know that you're giving yourself a self-massage right now. Now, before you come up, release the arm down and then tuck the chin a bit. So as you come up, you're lifting from center of your body, not your head. Nice. And roll it out. And then just take a moment and feel that. We're going to take the navel to the spine and then start to slowly round the back. So start from your the pelvic bony structures, your sitting bones, and roll back vertebrae by vertebrae. And then leave your head down so that as you come forward, you start from the pelvis again. You roll forward on your sitting bones. You pull your lower back in, you pull your mid back in, your arms might go back, you pull your shoulder blades together, and you open your throat to where it's comfortable. Now start from your pelvis again. See if you can let the head be the very last to respond. And just play with that, noticing what's happening vertebrae in several different planes. Because there may be areas, this is where we find out where we might be stuck in between a couple vertebrae. Sometimes they don't like to articulate. Now notice a couple more rounds. And then we're going to come right into center. So go ahead and finish the position you're moving into, and then lift or lower yourself right into center. Okay. And one more time, we're going to now take our spine. So we went side to side, forward and back, and then twisting. And then we also go lift and compress. So our spine actually has 6 different actions. So let's take the arms out to the side, or you can even do it here if your arms get tired. You could put your hands on your chest. And you're just going to gently turn side to side, arms open if you can. And keep your head forward at first and just feel how much motion you can get rotating your ribs. Notice your pelvis is steady. And you're just taking your rib cage side to side, and then bring your head with you. As long as you don't get dizzy, you could close your eyes, would be recommended. And how about your breath? You could, in this position, since we're going a little bit at a faster pace, inhale one side, exhale the other. Keep releasing tension out of the shoulders. We'll do this a few more rounds. And stay very lifted through the crown of the head as you do this. Lifted through the heart. Then slow it down and bring your hands to center. Just place them in your lap. And close your eyes and take a few breaths and now imagine this spinal column as a channel of energy. In yoga, we call the channel of energy Sushumni. And it's known as the central axis from the base of our spine out the crown of our head. So when our spine is elongated and tension-free, then this energy, our life force, can flow more easily. And we become more vibrant. So just notice what you're feeling here. A few more breaths, sinking into the core of your being. And we want to recognize that all of our movement is best centered in the core. So when we're moving through our day, and like Beth's been, recognizing how she's holding her hips standing at the kitchen counter, we want to notice how we're holding that whole line of the spine and moving from that place. And I'll help you understand what that means. So I call it moving from center. So we're not moving from the periphery and leaving our center behind. And that's a tendency. So I want you to really feel into sensation that's in the middle of your body right now, your central axis. We want to move from that place because that's our power place. That's our strength. We're all being sent home now, and this is an opportunity to be home inside our own selves, be home inside our own skin. And then gently blink open your eyes. So we're going to come on to an all fours position now. So rearrange yourself so that you can do that. And I think my mic is working well today. I'm going to put a blanket down because I'm on a hardwood floor for my knees. You guys all might be on carpeting. That's nice. So come on to all fours. And we're going to take the hands out in front of the shoulders. So this is always important because so many people put their hands right under their shoulders and you don't have enough space for your spine. And so we want to take it forward. Plus it's easier on the wrist joint. So go ahead and take your hips slightly behind your knees. And if anyone has a question, I really want to encourage you to unmute, either ask a question, or if my sound isn't working, I'm going to need you to tell me because I can't tell. Okay, so if something's not working, let's be, it's the only thing about doing this virtually is I don't get as much feedback as I really like to have when we're in this position of sharing. So please feel free. Press into your hands now. And now the hips are right over the knees and the hands are forward. And now let's play with our spinal column again. So we're going to just keeping the arms super strong and steady, pushing into the front of the hands, squeezing the arm bones, not the quadriceps, the triceps. So your arms are steady, and then sinking the weight of your ribs without bending your elbows. So again, this is thoracic spine moving into extension, a backward bending pose. Just let your head go into the position that's comfortable for your neck. So we're hanging, I call this the hammock. So our spine is like a hammock, hanging from our shoulders and hips, and this is a more passive movement. You can wiggle about a little bit. So we're slowly allowing the ligaments, there's deep ligaments, connecting vertebrae to vertebrae, and there's very small little muscles in between the vertebrae as well that oftentimes don't get addressed because they're so deep. So we're sinking into the spine to give those areas some attention. And if you feel any discomfort or vulnerability in your lower back, just tone your belly a little bit more. But we're staying here on purpose for a little bit. You could also shift your weight slightly forward and back. So we're moving in deep, but you also want to make sure you're not suffering needlessly. Take your breath into where you feel sensation. We're going to stay for about 5 more breaths. So holding this allows those deeper areas to become accessed. Now, there's probably some areas that are really speaking to you more than others. If you're like me, now there's just certain spots that are like starting to light up a little bit, and we can know what those are so we can attend to them through our movement. So we're going to reverse this now very slowly. So toning the belly first, start to lift the abdomen and hug it in so the pelvis starts to shift first. So we're lengthening the lower back. And then as that reaches its end point, then, and see if you can find that end point, then we start to lift into the upper belly. The front ribs come in. Excuse me. And then you'll feel it across the mid-back. Press into the hands. Notice if you've rolled to the outside of your hands, press to the knuckle of the index finger. And keep lifting the arms. Don't sink, but lift. Now really stretch up into that flexion. Yeah, flexion of the spine. And hold that. So go to the point where you can hold for a few breaths, because we want to give those soft tissues an opportunity to open. So minimum edge is fine. Maximum edge is intensity, but not pain. So somewhere in between those two edges is your perfect place. But give it time. So when you're going deeply like this before you're warmed up, you're actually addressing more of your connective tissue, your ligaments, your tendons, your fascia. Okay. You're also practicing patience with your mind. So take another breath here. Exhale into it, and then we're going to reverse. So feel yourself just softening. Softening the weight of your spine, your sitting bones, let them rise. And then from the lower back to the mid back to the upper back, and even opening the throat. And now we've been on the wrist for a bit, so we're going to go again into rounding, so we're not staying as long. We're going to go into cat, and then move our hips back away from our knees and pop the heel of the hand up. So I want you to release your wrist joint coming up onto your fingertips. Meanwhile, you're really pulling those front ribs in and arching your back towards the sky. And then plant the hands down and lift and open the chest. So here we go back to the hammock. And now we're going to pause in this hammock and start to tone the belly. So lift the abdomen, not rounding, but just coming to what feels like neutral to you. So your hips are high, your hips and shoulders are level, your front ribs are tucked in. You haven't rounded your lower back though. And then you're going to start to shift your weight forward just enough to get a straight line from your knees to your head. Push into your hands, those strong arms, and then take it back up. Round your back and pull back towards your heels and pop the heel of the hand up. And now we're going to reverse that. Hands down, come to neutral, and then start to shift forward. As you do that, imagine you're hugging a block between your thighs. Hug your legs towards each other isometrically. Lift your belly and begin to sink into your lower back just to where it's comfortable. Feel the front of the thighs open. Bend your elbows a little bit, and you can really squeeze the shoulder blades and then release out. So I want you to go back and forth like that. Back and forth on your own. Can I see anybody? Yeah, there you go. And really discover putting together that articulation, of your vertebrae. That looks good for those of you that I can see. vertebrae by vertebrae, and notice the connection of that central axis with your hips and shoulders. Opening those up. Releasing the wrists as necessary. Make it easy and effective. And then you're going to come back into neutral again. So move your way back into that center place of tabletop. And then we're going to drop onto the forearms and get off of our wrists for a moment. Bring your elbows directly under your shoulders. And then interlace your fingers. And you might want to tuck, either point your middle fingers out, your little fingers out, or tuck one under so you're not squishing it. Press into your forearms. And then from here, scooping up the belly, move your weight of your chest forward. So you've got the weight in the center of your forearms. And you want to soften. Let your chest, if you can move your chest, sink it down and lift it up between your arm bones. And feel yourself bringing the shoulder blades closer together and further apart. Just notice that movement of that's available. And then find the middle ground. So you're not sinking all the way, but you're not pushing up and pressing into the mid-back. Find neutral. Relax your neck. Your weight is in the center of your forearm. Then you're going to walk your knees back a little bit and start to scoop up your navel super strong, still keeping the chest open. So a little hint of a cat pose. And walk your knees back enough so you feel your abdomen start to hold you. And then hug your knees and your elbows towards each other. Squeeze it in. So you're really tugging up the belly. Your lower back might be a little bit flattened. That's okay right now. But your chest is open, so press into the forearms. And this should be a lot of energy into your abdominal wall. So this is the best way to strengthen the support of your all four abdominal muscles, layer by layer. Squeeze in, hang in there. Hug your legs towards each other. Squeeze your buttocks a little bit. That helps. Lift the belly, hugging the knees and elbows towards each other. Breathing. And then slowly lowering the thigh bones to the floor and the pelvis. Separate the hands. Walk your hands forward. And let your legs come a little bit apart. You want to have your feet shift about hip width apart to shoulder width. Now pushing the arms, pull back on your arms and lengthen your abdomen. You get a nice stretch through your belly. And hold this and breathe. The Sphinx pose. So the legs, if they're wider apart, you'll have more room for your sacrum. So make sure you have that space. So your lower back feels comfortable. You could lower the arch a little bit if you need to. Some of you might want to come a little further into it. So always modify the forms according to what your body is telling you. Just let that open because we're going to do it again. So plank asana, I call it, doing those deep planks. That's something you want to put into your routine on a regular basis because it's the best way to strengthen your abdominal wall. And it's safe. It's easy. I mean, it's easy functionally. And if you're weak, it's not going to feel so easy, but you can always start. So you can even start from this low. We're going to bring the hands together again. I'm going to walk my legs in a little closer. Maybe curl your toes under, or you can have your toenails down. And then pushing into the forearms, let's start right here. The pelvis is on the floor and you're trying to lift your belly. So think of your kidney area reaching to the sky. You're really hugging in. Now this one, I'm hunching a little bit more in my shoulders at first. That's okay. Get grounded in your forearms, scoop it up, and then scoop up the belly to bring the hips off the floor. You might need to bring your knees up a little bit. Now hug your knees and elbows towards each other, and then to adjust the shoulder girdle, lift the head. Lift the head neutrally, hugging in. And then a few of you might be okay taking the toes under and coming off the knees. And again, you're still, don't let the bottom rise up. Lift the belly, open the heart. So from knees or toes, we're going to stay for 30 seconds and breathe. And one thing you can do for yourself, give yourself a challenge, is work up to 2 minutes. Doesn't mean you're going to do that tomorrow or today. Some of you can, I know. But if you can't, that's okay. Just add 5 seconds a day, starting with 30. Let's see what 30 feels like. That's 30. Lower your knees, lower your pelvis, reach your arms out, breathe deeply. And lengthen. No, it's funny teaching like this because I don't get to hear your breath or your moans or your groans or your sounds of relief. I realize how much I feed off of that as a teacher. So I guess I could unmute you all, but there's usually some background noises at home. So I'll just imagine what you're feeling. So feel that lengthening, then pull the elbows apart, take your head down. And with this one, put your head on your forearms. Your legs can come a little bit further apart. This is called crocodile pose. So you can just drop in and really breathe and let your belly soften. Feel how when you inhale, how your belly gently pushes against the ground. And as you exhale, releasing the belly and let your lower back sink towards the floor. So notice not only what's happening in the belly, but also what's happening in the lumbar curve. This was a huge therapy for me when I had a herniated disc. Yes, I too had a herniated disc. It was good research. But this was my therapy to just, this is a natural way of getting your lumbar curve in. So Steve, you might consider this one on a regular basis. Just if you don't have a lot of lumbar curve, this is a very passive way of just, it's kind of a point of surrender, letting your belly sink, letting your lower back sink towards the floor. Okay, notice how that feels for you. And one more breath. Pressing into the arms, lift the head, take the arms forward. I think we need to go for third time's a charm. Yeah, I'm going to give you one more option for it too. Those of you that have the strength, because I want everybody to be playing their edge. So you should be in a state where you're challenged. And sometimes you don't have to do a lot. That's okay. And everybody just needs to be at that point of challenge that's serving you. So we're going to interlace the hands again. Walk the legs back in. Get them close together. Get your arm bones grounded so your elbows are right under your shoulders. Push into the forearms and then start to lift the belly. And then lifting from the belly, take the thighs up, the pelvis up. Bring your knees a little closer. Hug in, and then to take the kind of balance out, to flatten the curve. We all know that term now. We're going to flatten the curve. Let's imagine that. We're going to take the curve, kind of a good planetary vision, and we're going to flatten that curve. We're going to bring it forward. Let's do it for the sake of humanity. So press down. The stronger we are, the stronger we are in our all together. So press down and then maybe lift the knees. That's not for everyone. So keep the knees down and just lift. If you need to come up and down a few times, that's okay, but we're going for 30 seconds again. So in that 30 seconds, you might come up and down a few times. Or you might be up on your toes. And if you are and you're like, oh, 30 seconds is not, you have an option of taking one foot out and one foot in. So now you're just adding yet another dimension. There's really no end. As soon as something gets
You're strong, then you've got another layer to add. So you can do this little tapping, 1 foot out, 1 foot in. You can hear it in my voice. It's a little challenging. Let's see. 15 plus 30. Okay, lower the knees and lower. And then we're going to stretch the arms out. Okay. Drop in. This time you turn your head all the way to the side and take your arms back by your sides. Okay, make sure you're comfortable around if you have a blanket under you. So let your heart calm down. Feel your strength. Now we flatten the curve. Look, we did it. Yay! So now we're going to strengthen the other side of our spinal column. That was strengthening the front side, right? The abdominal wall. And yes, there was work going on in the shoulders and other areas. We're going to turn the palms down and take your hands a little bit away from your sides so it's easy on your shoulders. And then bring your head to center and gently lift the shoulders. So don't lift your head first, lift your shoulders first, shoulder blades squeezing together. And then let's take the hands to the hips and squeeze the elbows towards each other. Your head can be down. I'm just lifting because I'm trying to get my sound working for you. So squeezing the elbows, and then some of you might be able to get your hands together behind your back, but your elbows bent. So either hands on hips, elbows bent, squeezing towards each other, or hands together, squeezing elbows towards each other. And then gently lifting your chest and head and lowering. So you're going to do some dynamic movement. Now, meanwhile, I want you to imagine that someone's holding your calf muscles and pressing your lower leg, your shin bone, towards the floor, and your knees towards the floor. So press down the lower body as you lift the upper body. Again, your hands could be at your hips, and notice your breathing. You might want to exhale your way up because that's where the effort is. So little push-ups for your back, pull-ups. One more time. And then turn your head the other direction, which I can't do, but turn your head the other direction and surrender. Let go. Huge lesson these days, right? I'm going to send you all a little newsy letter today with all the things happening, and I thought a good theme for that might be let it go, let it go, let it go. And then it snowed today. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. So let go. Melt out tension. And feel that dynamic action you've created. Now we're going to do it again a little differently. Take your hands out to the side, palms down, and go as wide as you want, depending on your shoulders. Bring your head to center. Hope you can see me okay. Oh, yeah. And then draw the shoulders back and bring the hands up. And then the arms are going to be wide this time. And you're lifting. And I want you to really have a little bend in your elbow because work the shoulder blade area. Keep your heart open. Meanwhile, you're really pressing the legs into the floor and even toning your belly. So do this a few times. Hold on. This next time, hold up and dissolve unnecessary effort. Just hold at a place that's just right. Hover. Stretch out through your toes and squeeze your leg muscles. Spread your toes so your lower body's activated. Maybe your feet float off the floor. And then we're going to bring it all down and relax. So go ahead and relax. I just got to make some adjustments here on my technology. So relax. Feel that back body. It's just so important to keep that back body strong. As I said, our curves usually easily go forward. So we have our back, right? We need to have our back. Helps us feel confident and courageous when we have a strong back. So let's do this one more time. Okay, arms out this time wide to the side and not above the shoulders, so out at hands below the shoulders. Bring your head to center. Now you could leave your head on the floor if you need to. So always adjust, be creative in your action. So from here, lift the arm bones first. The shoulder comes away from the floor first, and then put a little soft bend in your elbow instead of stretching out hard in the joint, little bend so your biceps are activated. Push your legs into the floor, tone the belly, and then lift the arms, and then lift the chest. So it's like an airplane pose. Lift it up and lower it slightly. Do that a few times, up and down, keeping the chin level. You're not trying to lift with your nose. You're lifting from your heart. And then pause. And again, firm the muscles around the legs. Before you lift the legs, squeeze super tight to the bone. Spread your toes. And they'll kind of lift on their own if those muscles are hugging enough. So a little bit broader expansion. Maybe take the legs a little wider. Maybe tilt down a little or up. Play with back body. Swim around. And then this time, take your hands right next to your chest. Lay your legs down, forehead down. With your hands next to your chest, again, lift the shoulders, squeezing the shoulder blades. Now peel the heart up and then pushing into the hands. Peel yourself up off the floor. Make yourself comfortable in your all fours position. Okay, the hands are slightly forward of the shoulders. Shins on the ground. If you're using a blanket, whole shin on the blanket. And we're going to stretch one leg back. Take the toes under and really press back. Go ahead and get a deep stretch on your Achilles. Now, if your wrists have any resistance, if you haven't got any yoga blocks yet, you might want to get that for yourself. I put some links on my page so you can get some. I think they have them at Target too if you dare to go out. So press down because you can put your forearms on a block and then you're not all the way down. Press through the back leg. You're stretching the Achilles. So remember, stretching the legs, especially the back of the legs, is going to free the pelvis. If the legs are tight, the hamstrings are tight, it's going to inhibit the movement of the pelvis. And then we're going to shift our weight so it's on the forearms, or you could be on your hands. I'm just giving you options here. Nice and steady, and your hips over your knee. And then you're going to lift the back leg. And again, instead of pushing way out, push in the leg, but hug. You want your knee to bend a little bit. You want to feel your hamstrings activated. And now instead of being in your hammock back, I want you to tone the belly and really feel the lift from the front side. Feel a lot of work that you did in your plank. So imagine doing the plank, holding your spine neutral. And then bring your arm out to the side. Don't bring it forward, but bend the elbow. So now you're lifting from the muscles of your shoulder blade. This is what I'm talking about, moving from the center of your body. Don't lift with your hand. Lift from your shoulder blade. And then release it all back down. And to release our wrists, lean back, pop the heel of the hand off the floor, round. Plant the hands, come forward onto all fours. Take one leg, the other leg back. Press through the heel. Again, you could do this from the forearms if you prefer. Really stretch. So we want to have mobility in the ankle and the feet. Starting from the feet, as we learned in our first lesson, the feet need to be supple. Ankles supple and strong. Calf muscles I've been feeling my calf muscles a lot. I've been working them more and more. So, and then all the way up the leg. We're going to shift our weight forward and lift that leg. So your hip should be right over your knee. Now tone the belly, tone the leg, and bring the arm away, the opposite arm. Make sure it's opposite. You're lifting from your shoulder. So the back body, just like you did on the floor when you're on your belly, feel those same muscles lifting you. Okay, same thing, but now you're balancing. And then bring it down and round. Release back, release the wrist. So that's the key to our balance, is having core strength. Now we're going to do a little dynamic movement. So come forward onto all fours. Take the other leg out and the arm up simultaneously. So bent elbow, straight leg, feeling the muscles of the backside. Then release it down, scoop the front body, round. Let's flow. Inhale, take it up. Exhale and release wrists. So move at your own pace and move slow so you have that balancing act in between. So a strong core, which means all the muscles surrounding our spine and supporting our hips. A strong core leads to a more secure foundation and graceful movement. So here we go, back and forth a couple more times. Inhale your way up. Exhale out as you go down. And this time as you go down, you're going to stay. So depending, now my knees don't like to bend as, well, my meniscus doesn't like to be bent. So I cross my ankles and it gives me a little support so I don't go as deep into my knee. I just discovered that because I had to. Elbows come down. Some of you might stay a little further forward and you can drop your head down on your hands. Just drop in child pose or any form of child pose that you can find. And soften. So after our effort, we invite ease. Nice deep breaths into your side body. And then we're going to lift the head and take the hands forward. Come on to all fours. I'm going to remove this. Okay. Now, make sure the hands are forward of the shoulders. Again, you could do this from your forearms if you need to. And take the toes under. And again, sense what is neutral alignment. So we want to have that lumbar curve. The thoracic spine is supported by the front ribs hugging in, and the head is a natural extension. Now, lean your hips back a little and take your knees just a few inches off the floor. Get your feet grounded, your hands grounded. And stay low in your knees and then push into your hands so you're bringing your chest more toward your legs. You're creasing deep at the hips. And then drawing the sitting bones to the sky, okay? Tone the belly and then maybe lift the ribs a little. And now again, let's walk out the feet because we've learned how important it is. Our foundation of alignment starts at the foundation, which is our feet when we're standing. So you want to have those ankles supple and strong. Stretch them out. And then bring both heels high, bend the knees again, tilt your bottom up as best as you can. Yes, there's lots of work in the upper body. Push into your arms and push away from the earth. And then bring your knees back down. Walk your hands toward your knees, okay? And then stand up on your knees. All right, get situated after being upside down. And then take your hands and let's release the wrists, okay? You're on your knees. Then from here, from the balance point, shift your weight a little bit right to left on your knees. See what that feels like. If you have knee issues, do what you need to do to take care of yourself, okay? Create your modifications. Sorry, can't be there to be of more assistance. Side to side. I'm going to shift my weight to one side, tone the belly, and take a leg up. And then I'm going to walk that leg forward. And then hinging from my hips, put one hand on the ground, maybe walk this leg out to the side a little and start to lean into the hips. Okay, and then pull back. Now, some of you might want both hands inside. And if you have blocks, you can put your hands on blocks. And you're just going back and forth trying this on, because what we're doing now is we're recognizing the relationship between our legs and our spine. And the only muscle that attaches our spine to our legs is the psoas. And that psoas is so important to the health of our lower back, the movement of our pelvis, and the comfort of our lumbar and thoracic spine. So oftentimes it's tight, whether it's weak or strong, it gets tight. So we're going to come forward now and really think of bringing the hips evenly towards the ground. So you want to draw, instead of sinking onto that left hip, try and keep your hips level, because your psoas is attached more in the medial area, the inner area of your thigh. You could have your hands on the floor, but notice what you feel in there, the inner edge of your greater trochanter. And I don't know if you can see me, but I'm going to show you what you're stretching. So that muscle is attached all the way in here, way back here, to this way back here on your thigh bone. And it comes up and goes through and attaches to your vertebrae right here, your lower lumbar, all your lumbar vertebrae, and even T12, and comes through the body like this, behind your organs. It hooks in with this muscle, the iliacus, so that's coming through, and then comes around. You feel it right in that hip joint, and attaches way back here, this little knobby. So you want to keep this level, okay? If you drop the outside, you'll feel it stretch back a little more. So just imagine what you're doing in there, and then pause now in a place that feels right. Stop moving and find a static move and pause. So that's going to be a different place for everybody, but I call it your just right place. Your body's saying, yeah, there's a spot. And then soften into it. Again, find those edges. Intensity is acceptable, pain is not. And gentleness is totally acceptable. A little bit goes a long way. Now, engage your abdomen and lift yourself up out of there. Walk your hands back so you can take your leg back. And now you're on all fours again. Okay, hands slightly forward to the shoulders. Curl the toes under. You might feel a difference right to left right now in your hips energetically. We're going to go back into our dog pose. So lift the bottom. I'll show you the modification off the hands. You could be here in dolphin. Press into the forearms or the hands. Lift the knees a little bit. Don't straighten the legs, because that'll tilt your pelvis the wrong way. We want to lift the bottom. Let your head dangle and stretch through your side body. So focus this time on lengthening your spine and your side body. Yeah, there you go. And then slowly begin to bring the stretch into the legs. You know, bend the knees if you need to, but then as you start to open them up, get that stretch into the back of your legs. And the more you tilt your bottom up, that's where the hamstrings attach. It's also a good inversion, and inversions are really good for our nervous system, our immune system. And then come down to your knees. Release your hands to the floor. Think we're down. Walk back. Stand on your knees. Okay. Release your wrists. Shift that weight so you feel solid on your knees. And you're going to bring the other leg forward. So tone the belly. Step. So start upright. Pushing into your front leg. Lift your belly. Okay. And then you'll start to come forward. So now we're going to get the stretch on the other leg. Imagine what it looks like in there. Okay. And then you can either stay up or bring a hand down, start to ease in, and then go back and forth a little bit. So just easing into the stretch and back out. Sort of like taking a rubber band and just slowly lengthening it and releasing it. So we're opening up those little fibers. It's also pumping some good circulation through your body, because our body, as I spoke about yesterday in the yoga for immune system, our body needs this pulsation in order for all our fluids to move and our body to nourish and cleanse itself. So let's pause in a lunge where it feels right to you. Maybe hands on the floor. Some of you might be down even on your elbows. Just get creative. At the same time, maintain integrity of alignment. So hold that container. You want to keep the belly toned. You're not just slopping into the pose, not hanging. This is yang yoga. You're staying steady and strong. And just hold into one place so your body has time to respond. Notice how you can utilize all those muscles around your core that you worked from the floor, toning the front body and the back body. And then on your next few breaths, lift yourself out of there. Bring your hands closer to your leg. Release the leg back. Okay. Stretch your hands forward. Curl the toes under. This time, everybody on hands, because we're going to transition. Take the knees off the ground. Then walk your feet up as close as you can. Then bend your knees a lot so you can bring your hands to next to your feet or your forearms on your thigh. Press down into your feet. And look at your feet. See that they're straight ahead. Press into your heels. And then as you press into your heels, lift your bottom and start lifting your bottom until, and it might not take much, you want to feel this stretch in the back of the leg. You want to get it here, not right at the sitting bone or all in the back of the knee. So if it's the back of the knee, bend the knees more, lift your bottom. Okay. If it's all at your sitting bone, maybe engage your pelvic floor a little bit more. That'll just take the sitting bones down enough. Let your head dangle. Some of you might let your arms dangle if that feels okay. And you're also letting the spine relax. Breathing. Now pressing into the floor, we're going to return the hands to the thighs, everybody. Push down into your feet. Let your knees bend. Now pushing into your hands as well. Lift your belly. Pull your heart forward. So now our back body's firm. Keep the front body firm too. Take your arms out to the side, much like we did when we were laying on our belly. Push down, and then we're going to lift up, lift up, lift up, and then turn around. And I want you to be able to see what we're doing. So adjust yourself so your head's not turning on your spine. Face me. And here we are. Feel your power. Let your light shine out through your palms. And then release. Roll the shoulders out. So I just want to do one thing standing, a lot on the ground today, but isn't that great? So at home, I want you to notice where you were challenged and where your body was really saying, yes, this is what I need. And I want you to remember that. And of course, you'll have a recording of this too, which is great because it's through repetition that we gain strength and mobility. So consistency is the key to results. Okay, we're all learning that. Very big lesson for everybody right now, which is good. There's good lessons coming through. Let's anchor into the feet and just feel what it's like now, having just been on the floor, activating. Oh, I didn't do the side body. Shoot. Okay, we might have to do that on next week. I'll come back. So nice and tall. And then we're going to take our spine in all directions for our signature salutation. But we'll do it with a new awareness, perhaps, of how you're supporting yourself through the front side, the back side. And then we're going to take the arms up with an inhalation. Let the elbows bend. Grab a wrist. I'll come back a little bit more. And now that side bend. So as you lift, don't collapse, but lift up and over. So that top elbow is really lifting. Release your neck. Press through the hip. Get that nice big side body opening. And then back up to center. Grab the other wrist. Lift the elbow up and over. Some of you might straighten your arms. That's okay. Whatever feels good to you. One more breath. Inhalation brings you back up. And then we'll let our arms go out. Bring them right onto the rim of your pelvis. And much like we did on the floor, arm bones up and back. So you lift the arm bones first. Draw the elbows towards each other. Okay, now notice if your hips have dropped. So soften your knees, bottoms back. I'd rather see a little exaggeration. Eventually you can stand up nice and tall, but there's still that curve and that softness in the knees. Elbows draw back, squeeze the shoulder blades. Now if you want, you could bring your hands back further or even interlace your fingers and squeeze. And then let the shoulder blades lift your heart. You're not collapsing back. Chest is your guide. Draw the head of the humerus up, lift the chest. Okay. Pull into the shoulder blades. Maybe open the throat if you have no neck issues. Draw back. Then bend the knees. Tilt your pelvis forward. Okay, you're still in the same position. You just creased at the groin. Pause halfway. Toning the belly to make sure you're supported. Hands come down to the sides of the legs. And then you curl in. Maybe the hands come lower. Slide the hands back up. Lift the belly, lift the heart, lift the gaze. Feel the back body strong. And one more time, sink down. Hands wherever is comfortable. Now bend the knees a lot. Place your hands on the floor. Walk your feet back. Stretch into your dog and lower your knees to the floor. Just one little mini salutation today. Okay. So from here, you're going to lay down on the ground. So bring your knees around. Okay. And I'll talk you through this. You probably won't be able to see me if you're laying down. Do the best you can. And just draw yourself down in a way. Now, I want you to use those muscles. Notice how you got there. You're probably already down, but notice how you got there. Because you want to get there with a sense of control, support, I should say. We can feel a sense of control inside our own body. At this time of our life, with all the stuff, all the uncertainty we're dealing with, we can create a sense of responsibility and tenacity right here in how we take care of our own precious human body and our attitude. So that's what we're here for, to connect all the parts of our being. So as you lay on the ground with your feet on the floor, your knees are bent, and you can just gently rock right to left. So notice we're going to go into the spinal twist now a little bit more. Just keep it up tall. This is not double knee drop. This is just a little rocking, because we're going to do a deeper twist. This is just to warm it up. Notice how that feels. And then pausing in the center, straighten one leg. And with the foot that's on the floor, you're going to push firmly into that foot so you can unweight your hips. So my left foot is on the floor. I'm going to move my hips to the left.
and then roll on top of my right hip. So you do the same. You move your hips towards the bent knee and then roll onto the opposite hip. And now you're going to stack one hip on top of the other. Okay. And to deepen the twist, try not to pull that bent knee towards the floor. It's better to have it level to your pelvis to keep your spine neutral. And then push into your arms and move your rib cage. Try and twist your rib cage back in the opposite direction of the bent knee. Check that out. Your foot, your top foot could come to the floor or a block, or it could be behind your leg. Just notice what feels right in your spine. This is a pretty deep twist, and we want it to be. So feel that in the lower back, get that situated, go deep in the thoracic spine. That's where the twist really occurs, and the cervical. So instead of just dropping your head away from your knees, move your head, take the back of your head over to the side of the bent knee and then roll. And then you'll have more space around your neck. So you want to feel that your spine is aligned neutrally as you twist, and then pause and be still and feel the energy moving along your spinal column. You can even give your back a little massage if you feel like it needs some love. Rearrange and then settle. Let that energy flow along your spine. Notice all you've done for your body today, taking care of that central axis, strengthening everything around it, and giving it its full range of motion. One more, or two more breaths here. Just feel what's comfortable with you, and then slowly start to unwind it. Bring the foot back to the floor. Roll onto your hips. Square your hips, both feet to the floor. Breathe. It's always good to pause a little bit between your poses to really feel the response. Let the other leg straighten. Pardon me. Move your hips away from the straight leg so you can roll onto the side of the hip. Stack your hips. And then pressing down into your arms, twist your rib cage in the opposite direction. So go for a nice snug twist in your spine. And then adjust all the way into the neck. And know that as you gently but deeply twist the spine, it actually creates more space between your vertebrae. So you can think of this as opening up the channel, the spinal column, the nervous system. This is why we often end with twists, because it's a neutralizing pose. All of our backward bending is very energizing. Our forward bending is very quieting. And twists are that balance in between. A few more breaths. Stay, breathe, refine the process. And then slowly release. So you feel the unwinding, the coming back around. Now all of your discs can plump up again. Come on to your back with your knees bent again, arms open. And now you might even feel like you want to pull your knees into your chest. Let's do that today. Pull the knees in and out a little bit. And then maybe circle the knees. If you prefer something else, that's okay. So now we're releasing the practice, releasing the effort of the practice, knowing that Hatha Yoga is a yoga of effort, because that just right effort is what it takes to develop and maintain our strength and mobility and stamina and grace. Give yourself a nice big hug.
And then set your feet down, open your arms up. If you want, stretch your legs out along the floor, place something underneath them. You know the drill here is to align yourself and support yourself as necessary. So you can just drop in and completely let go. The most important pose of all, Shavasana. So shedding the layers of unnecessary tension, thoughts, troubles, let go. Feel a veil of softness starting to gently cover your entire body, softening the skin, releasing all the muscles. Sensing a spaciousness expanding inside of you through your torso, limbs, head. Breathe into that spaciousness. Feeling that next breath coming in through the tip of your nose. Follow it down your windpipe into your heart. Breathe with your attention now settled in your heart space. Recognize the good things you've done for yourself today, for your body, for your energy, for your attitude. Recognize that this core strength is care of our central axis, our spine, our energy channels are what help us to feel more relaxed and responsive to the outer influences of life. Allow yourself to remember those things that work so well for your body, where there was a connection to your own yoga therapy, and you want to repeat that daily. Something that can continually develop to bring you back more and more towards that space of balance. Now go ahead and wiggle your fingers and toes and maybe stretch or hug in what feels comfortable to you. And be sure to roll onto your side first. This is a system. This is a way of moving out of our practice with grace, not popping up, but rolling to the side. Keeping your nervous system calm. And then pulling your chin a bit into your throat. When you place your hand on the floor, keep your head heavy and lift yourself from the belly, lifting the spine. And then the head comes up last. And that will maintain that relaxation response. So come to a comfortable seat for our final asana. Find that pose from which we began. Notice how you feel, any changes in your physical form or your energy body, your attitude. It's great to notice how our practice has affected us. And usually that's good inspiration for the continuation. Let's place our palms together at our heart. And today I'd like to invite a second mudra called Padma, where your middle three fingers open. So your hands open like a flower. It's called Padma Mudra, which is the lotus flower. And just opening our hearts and recognizing again how this self-care truly is the best health-care. And as we care for ourselves and stay grounded and present and at peace, we offer that energy to those that are around us, those that are in our immediate area, if you have the opportunity of sharing with others right now. And we can send that energy out way beyond the people that aren't in our immediate vicinity. So we are all containers of energy. We are all energy beings. And how we vibrate, how we radiate makes all the difference. So let us be a peaceful influence on the world right now, because that's what she's asking. She's saying, settle down, quiet down, stay home, come home to your heart, breathe here, be at peace. You are safe. Thank you so much for joining together today. Namaste. Oops, thank you very much. I am going to invite you to say hello. I'm unmuting those that I can unmute. Steve, Jan, Arlene, I can't. Beth, you have your own unmuting. Just let me know how you feel, and I'll give you a couple of updates too. I'll be back tomorrow at 9. You're all welcome to join. And it's yoga for the immune system right now. Next week, I have gotten my 5-day challenge on board. You'll be getting an email from me today. So next week is a 5-day challenge, Ignite Your Life. So I'll be guiding a meditation every morning on it. We'll have a Facebook forum that you have to join. This is a joining thing. It's still complimentary. But it will have that. So I'll do a morning meditation. You'll be given some recorded practices. You're still invited to come to these live practices. Same thing, all through the month of April. I'm going to keep the Tuesday, Thursday classes. And for posture, we have 2 more. Next week, neck and shoulders. And then we're going to put all together. And so I'll send you the information on Ignite Your Life. Not only is it practices, but there's a really good inner reflection, I think, for this time. It's really setting intention and reflecting on, what one little thing can you do for yourself that can hold you to that place of balance. It can help you be your most vibrant, authentic self. So we're going to bring that forth and nurture each other. So it's also another really great support system of coming together. And we will do that on what we call a Facebook forum. And then I might do a Zoom with that group. I'm going to see how that goes. But a lot of it's just sent to you and you can work at your own pace. Okay, so that's what's happening. And yeah, thank you so much. I'd love to have a little feedback. I like that exchange. So if anyone's willing to tell me how they feel, what worked, what didn't work, or what's one thing you want to practice regularly from today's practice, that would be a nice thing to hear. What's one thing you want to what's your takeaway? Let's see, Iris, I'll try and unmute you. There you go. I unmuted you.
Me and the 2 dogs here.
What was that?
Me and the two dogs keeping me company, doing all the yoga exercises.
Oh, that's great.
Anyhow, but I think it is, you know, yes, the in person is, of course, there, you can't beat it, but this is rather good. And it starts my day.
Oh, good. Can you
Very-
push your screen up just a little so I can see your face? I only see you from the chin down. There you go. Woo! Wild woman. There you
slightly disheveled, right? Uh, but I think it's just makes a wonderful difference. It starts my day.
go. Okay. Is there one movement or breath or area of your body that you want to focus on today that felt important?
Uh, you know, I need to save my knees and I have to work my spine.
Okay. Great.
So that's and balance is always on my mind.
Okay, great. That was actually that practice today was really an important one for balance. Even though
This
we didn't do any
morning,
balancing, we did balancing on all fours, but that core connection is key.
but this morning, because of the black eyes,
Yeah.
you needed to practice a little balancing. Hello? Anyhow, thank you so
Great.
much for doing it.
Okay, you're
Wonderful
welcome.
to see you.
Great.
On,
Thanks. Good to see you too. I'm starting to really miss everybody. Even though I see you here. Steve,
bye-bye.
how's that feeling?
Feels great. I really appreciate it. This is working out really well. Yeah. Just
That's a good one. Yeah.
like that you go so slowly. I think too much of yoga is just rote and fast, and I really felt it in different places going slow.
Yeah. And we don't get those intrinsic areas. We don't get those deep, deep areas when we go fast. The major muscles are what take us. So slowing down and really going in, especially when it comes to spinal support, spinal integrity. We got to get deep into those layers, those little multifidi. Yeah, great. I'm glad that feels good. So do your home study, and I will make this available. I'm downloading a couple more today. I will send you my Sunday newsletter is going out on Wednesday. It's been a time warp, but then I'll have lots of good information for you. Yeah, and so these will be available. Beth?
Yes, appreciated. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One is that when we are on all fours and we're doing the leg lifts, I love the notion of just sucking your leg into your pelvis, and that is just so strengthening, and it kind of gets my whole core activated and in alignment. And then the second thing was I really appreciated when you had the model so that I could visualize in my spine as all the directions that we move and my actual vertebrae. So those were both great.
Isn't it great? It really works, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So helpful.
Yeah.
There, that's almost right.
Yeah, way up into our neck. You don't think about how long your neck is, and it's just.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Glad that worked. Jan, I can't see you, but how you doing?
Oh, doing great, and thank you so much. I needed to experiment with how to get this technology going on.
I know.
But I think now I can join more things.
Oh, good. See, we're all learning this new way.
Yeah.
Yes, and I hope I'm dealing with the registration process because I do like to know who's coming. Now I'm having you register through Schedulicity I don't know why some of them had payment on there. They weren't supposed to. Register through Schedulicity, and then I'll have a list of who's coming, and it'll send you the Zoom link when it confirms. You'll get the little direct Zoom link. You don't have to register through Zoom. So we'll see how that works.
Yeah,
that way it's not
that was easy.
Did that work for you today?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, I'm so glad. Okay, great. Thanks, Jen.
Thanks.
All right, bye. Arlene, how's it feeling? You've been doing lots of this. Sorry, Yen got canceled.
But it's coming again, right?
Yes, Sunday. Uh-huh.
It's so good because it's helping me thinking about my designing for my courses or my classes. And it's just different now. Now the mentality is shifting to, well, how would I think about that? How am I going to teach that? I'm going to teach my sisters tonight for the first time.
On Zoom?
Yeah.
Great.
And it's going to be a relaxation, get them ready for bed. That was as much as I can get from them, but it's perfect.
Perfect. Oh, I love nighty-night yoga. Definitely get their feet up on a chair or the couch or something.
Yeah, and they both have back issue and neck issues. So, loosen those first.
Great.
And
Yeah,
then
so Arlene's in the training right now, and we're doing it. We have to do a virtual training next week. It could end up being, I've wanted to do this, so I'm kind of excited about it.
I think it's great.
Yeah, but I do miss, like I feed off of everyone so much that that's the part, I can't really see and give as much support as I like, but it works. So it's definitely a blend. I would never go completely virtual.
Yeah.
I like the human contact and I'm missing it, but I guess we're going to go for a while. Yeah. So, all right, ladies. So watch for your email. I got to go home and put that together today. And that'll get you up to par on all the things that are being offered. Yeah, Yin's coming. Enjoy your day. Bye. Bye, Jan.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.